Good morning, everybody. Welcome, everybody. I wanted to talk about a video I saw yesterday. The video apparently was about a year old, but it was posted, brought to my attention on Facebook yesterday from Rav Dror. I think his name's Rav Dror Kasuto. Seems like a nice guy. But he was talking about a subject that really, it seems like he's not really familiar with, although I appreciate the intentions that he was trying to bring out there in the comments that he was making. Excuse me for a second. So he was talking about how to interact with Christians and in general with other people of other faiths. And he was saying something along the lines that, there are some Christians who believe that Oise Ish is an Avodah Zarah, right? Is they believe him to be God, and there's some who only believe that he's Mashiach, only believe he's the Messiah, but not God. And those who, and then what he was saying is like, believing in a false Messiah that we disagree with doesn't necessarily make one an idolater or a heretic. It just means that one is wrong, but we shouldn't view them as idolaters or heretics. And his thesis was essentially saying that we have to try to live in peace with other people of other religions and not discount everybody as being wrong. And even if they are wrong, they're not necessarily heretics or idolaters. And again, he seems like a very nice guy. I don't know him. I just recently added him as a friend on Facebook, and he accepted the friend request because someone asked that we should discuss some issue, which in the end we didn't wind up discussing anyway. But I don't know this guy. I just know he makes a lot of videos on the internet. He's just like I do. But with all due respect, and he seems again like a really nice guy. Everything. This is my malacha. This is what I do for a living. Is I deal with the other religions, and I stay true to my faith, and I believe 100% that Orthodox Judaism is the one true faith. Although even within our communities there are aberrations and things that are problematic, things like religious Zionism and so forth, that even though I love the religious Zionists, they're my brothers in faith, I believe they're wrong. That's a different story. So, but with that being said, he's talking about something he really doesn't know much about, because he admitted in the video that he really doesn't understand what he's talking about. So the truth of the matter is, the vast majority of Christians, and probably what it comes down to being a Christian, meaning others, that will claim, certain groups will claim to be Christians. The mainstream Christians will say they're not Christians. Now, it's not my business because I'm not a Christian. But whether you're talking about obviously Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, but also Protestantism in pretty much every form, all believe in the Trinity, which means that they believe that there's one God that has three persons, three in one, and they believe that the Son is one of those persons. That's the mainstream Christian belief. Now, how they explain that, because obviously anybody who hears something like that, it doesn't make much sense. And I've heard some explanations that are kind of silly. Probably one that was pretty popular is that water could be in the form of a liquid, a gas, or a solid. That it could be liquid water, it could be vapor, gas, or it could be ice, but it's all water. That if you think about philosophically and theologically, that argument doesn't really make much sense. because if you think about what we're taught, the definition of God, it's impossible to make such a statement about God, and even to use it as sort of a mashal, a parable, to try to explain this idea. It doesn't make much sense. And furthermore, we have a revealed religion that tells us that that's false anyway. That meaning, someone was asking. It was a video I made recently. They were asking, why is it that Jews reject the Trinity if it's 3 in 1, meaning it's still saying it's one. And the simple answer is, we have a revealed religion that was revealed at Sinai in front of millions of people. Our apologetics are very strong and convincing, and the strongest from any religion. Really comes down to, I would say, for most people who really think critically about philosophy and theology and apologetics, and are not biased. And I've seen people like this. It either comes down to, if you come to the conclusion that there must be a God, which to me there's no doubt. I'm from the Jungian school, where they asked Jung, "Do you believe in God?" He said, "What do you mean, do I believe in God? I know there's a God." And that's what we're commanded to do in Judaism. Know thy God and serve Him. Know the God of thy father and serve Him. So you were shown to know that the Lord is God and there's none other but Him. But in any event, when you come to the logical and rational conclusion that there is a God, which generally the reason why people will reject that obvious truth is because of their own guilt and their desire to not feel any achrayus, to feel any responsibility to the Creator. And so because of lust, because of desire, which is normal and is part of being a human, but trying to justify that lust rather than to at least humble oneself because of it, even if one isn't able to overcome it, which we're commanded to do, we're commanded to overcome and to work on that. But even if one doesn't do that, at least to be humbled by the fact that we are sinners. The people, for the most part, if they reject religion, that is why they do so. Meaning it's because, or even forget about religion, just reject the concept of the Creator, of the first cause, which is a very obvious philosophical idea that just, it defies logic not to believe that there's a first cause, that there's some unmoved mover, as the Greek philosophers speak about. But once you come to that realization, and you study theology, and you study these different things, and you come to the truth that Judaism is the religion that makes the most sense of all of them. It's the most consistent, and the one that has the most, even though the others have some aspects of that, even the non-Abrahamic religions have aspects of things that make sense and work and help people in their lives and so forth. But the one that's the most all-encompassing, I remember I was walking once on Seminary Road in Manhattan in a job interview, and